Monday of Holy Week. What you're going to witness over the next several days leading up to Easter Sunday is a collaborative effort of pastors in the Park Circle community, giving you a snapshot of what happens each day during Holy Week. I want to invite you to join us this Friday night for our collaborative gathered service in the parking lot of Friendship Baptist Church. There'll be more information about that at the end of this video. But as I said at the beginning, it's Monday of Holy Week. We come off the tail end of yesterday being Palm Sunday, where we understand that Jesus has made his triumphant entry into Jerusalem. We understand from an example in Luke's gospel that Jesus has wept over the city, wept over the brokenness of the city, and now it is Monday. We see references of what happens on Monday, specifically with the cleansing of the temple in Matthew, Mark, and Luke's gospel. And we even see the cursing of the fig tree, which I'll read to you in a moment. But the temple, why does Jesus have to go into the temple to cleanse it? Well, because what was originally designed to be a house of prayer, as Isaiah 56:7 says, "These I will bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices will be accepted on my altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples." What was designed to be that, a house of prayer for all peoples, had become a place where evil was taking place all the time. Tax collectors had set up their booths. Things were being sold in and out of the temple. And Jesus enters into this place. He goes into this place to cleanse the temple. And in doing so, as he goes in to cleanse the temple, after he has made his triumphal entry, he goes in and makes it clear that this must not take place. In Matthew's Gospel, chapter 21, starting in verse 12, "And Jesus entered the temple and drove out all who sold and bought in the temple. And he overturned their tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. He said to them, 'It is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers.'" Again, tying in to the passage I read from Isaiah 56. "And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. But when the chief priests and the scribes saw their wonderful things that he did, and the children crying out in the temple, 'Hosanna to the Son of David,' they were indignant. And they said to him, 'Do you hear what these are saying?' And Jesus said to them, 'Yes. Have you never read, out of the mouth of infants and nursing babies, you have prepared praise?' And leaving them, he went out of the city to Bethany to lodge there." Jesus has done this. Jesus has cleansed the temple. Jesus has driven out everything that is evil, that is not supposed to be taking place in his Father's house, the house of prayer, the temple. A little bit later from that, we see in a couple of the gospel accounts the cursing of the fig tree. It says there in Matthew 21:18 and following, "In the morning, as he was returning to the city, he became hungry. And seeing a fig tree by the wayside, he went to it and found nothing on it, but only leaves. And he said to it, 'May no fruit ever come from you again.' And the fig tree withered at once. When the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, 'How did the fig tree wither at once?' And Jesus answered them, 'Truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what has been done to the fig tree, but even if you say to this mountain, 'Be taken up and thrown into the sea,' it will happen. And whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive if you have faith." Why? Why does Jesus need to curse this fig tree? This cursing of the fig tree was done to show that he was casting judgment on the fruitless people. Casting judgment on them. This was an example there to the disciples. The cursing of the tree to never produce fruit again also shows the authoritative power and judgment over this world, his creation. Because you have to remember, he was the Word that became flesh. He was there with God in the beginning. This is his world. Jesus did everything with authority, even to the point of death on a cross. on Calvary's Hill, which we will learn about more on Friday. I pray that you would stop and reflect on these events of today and what my brothers are going to be sharing with you over these next several days, leading up to Good Friday, but ultimately to Easter Sunday. He is risen. He is risen indeed. Blessings to you.
Sin had left a crimson stain. He washed it white as snow.